Yes, sir. This is a monthly report from the Facilities Maintenance and Operation Department. Mr. Trevino will present this month's projects, and this item is for information purposes only.
That was your time, Ruben.
Ruben, your time's up.
Good evening, members of the board, President Vela, and Dr. Gonzalez. I'm here to present on the facility maintenance and operations projects for the last 30 to 45 days. Our first complete project here that we have is the security entrance here at McAllen High School. It has now been completed. We started using this entrance here at McKay last week, and it's now in full operation. This entrance was pretty much done about 90% by our facilities maintenance and operations staff, with the exception of the door and the glass contractor. Everything else was done in-house by our staff, as some of the other entrances that we've worked on during the year. Our next slide is the whiteboard installation completions. Here you see Seguin, Escandon, Wilson, Rayburn, Travis, Rowe, McKay, and Brown, Milam that are complete, and Lamar as well. Next slide is the staff development, that the interior look of the new staff development building over at Lincoln. You see the new carpet install that is now fully complete, along with the wrappings inside the hallways. The next slide is the high school letter assessments that were done. We are now in the process of completing our third one. We went back at all three high schools with the original colors that they had on this past year, and we're now, finishing up. Memorial should be finished this week. The perimeter fencing, we have several schools that are now complete: Castañeda, Hendricks, Fossum, Morris, Rayburn. Perez is ongoing, pending city plans for the walking and jogging trail. Milam is ongoing currently with the decorative fencing that's been on order. Kathy is also ongoing. We're about done with Kathy, and Travis as well.
I'm going to assume that the decorative fencing that we're doing is the same that's consistent with every other campus. Am I correct?
Correct. Same model, same style.
Perfect.
Auditorium improvements, phase 2. Memorial High School, Rowe High School were complete at the time of this report. Now I'm happy to report that McAllen High School is also complete. We are now pending the training by the company on the lighting, LED lighting, along with our dimmer racks. And we should be bringing the final completion, final payment to the board, hopefully in the month of June.
They look good, Ruben.
Ongoing projects currently. Tonight we bring Milam, Houston, Seguin, and Kathy Middle School intercom systems. The roof replacement will be going out to bid for Chief Early College High School at Lincoln. And surveillance systems were received last week. We have completed the ranking, and we'll be bringing the surveillance systems for Fossum and Kathy at the next board meeting in May. On this particular slide here, we have some projects that have been completed over at Lamar Academy over this past year. We have the security entrance renovation, which was completed a couple months back. HV improvements that have been completed at Lamar for this fiscal year so far have been some HVAC improvements, such as 5-ton units, 3-ton units, and some other pieces of equipment that have been replaced. The fire alarm that has been completed as well at $142,000. We also completed the whiteboard installation, which was a quantity of 38. We have ongoing projects, 2 science labs for summer of 2019 that should begin the first week in June. We also have restroom partitions scheduled for summer of 1920, and then 3 major projects on the maintenance tax note for 1920, which would be the exterior door access controls, the parking lot reconfiguration, and the additional science lab for Lamar as part of the maintenance tax note. Another section of upcoming projects, we have the Memorial Security Entrance, which will be the last high school to be worked on for the front entrance. the surveillance systems for Brown, De Leon, Morris, and Travis. The auditorium seating will be beginning this summer. First week of June, we begin demolition. The McKay bleachers will also be installed this summer. Demolition on those begins mid-June with a completion date of July the 17th. We also have the science labs commencing on the first week of June with demolition of the current labs. We also have the Strides CTE classroom, which is a remodel at the Lincoln Athletic Building, along with the portable that I'll be presenting on the next slides, and the Memorial High School kitchen upgrades that are currently in design. Here we see the Ag Farm Phase 1. This particular set of plans is at the city right now, going through the engineering department for comments and approval. Here we have the staff development parking lot, which is with engineering as well and planning over at the city as well. We should have an answer from them this week, and we'll be going out to bid right after that. And this is the Strides program that I was mentioning. This is a proposed layout for one of the portables that we'll be moving out to the Lincoln campus. It'll be a prototype of the house with the one classroom with a bedroom, grooming room, and a full-size kitchen. And we'll be converting one of our own portables into that. The submitted and completed work orders for the month of March is 915 with 762 completed. And this concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Trevino, for your report. We'll start with questions on my left.
Just real quick, on the Ag Farm Phase 1, that money's already been,
Correct,
in
yes.
the budget, right? Okay. On the Strides program, I realize it's a house for life skills. Would that be moved close to the school, though?
Right now, we've been in discussions with Dr. Ibarra and Ms. Elizondo. We are planning on putting that portable building in the very close proximity to the Stride School. Yes.
Perfect.
Can I show the picture? Because I really,
Yes,
really like
please.
it. If you don't mind, maybe, or do you mind clicking yourself, just so they can fully appreciate it? So this is what it's going to look like. It's going to be adjacent to that wing at Lincoln. So there's going to be very close proximity because this house is going to serve the students both in the Strides program and also our students in 11th and 12th grade from the comprehensive high schools. So they'll be coming in and out. It's not, students are not permanently, this is not a classroom, a permanent classroom. They use it as part of a rotation. Unlike the Strides housing, the classrooms that are in the Lincoln building, the actual facility, those are 3 classrooms that will be permanently assigned to the students that are currently in the transition program. So it complements, it's complementary to the transition program.
Very nice. My last question, Mr. Trevino, in regards to Lamar Academy. We're moving the student development to Lincoln, freeing it up. My understanding, there's going to be enough parking now in the parking lot to house everybody. Are there plans to maybe expand the parking for visitors?
I'm going to say about, 6, 7, 8 days ago, we placed out there 5 visitor parking
Oh,
spaces.
they've already been
so
done.
They've already been
Okay,
taken
great.
care of.
Thank you, sir. Sir, that's all I had.
Thank you, Trustee Alvarado. Trustee Aliceda.
Hi, Raven. On the Ag Farm, I know it says Phase 1, and Trustee Alvarado asked you about that, but I don't remember being budgeted a building. There's a proposed building. There's 2 different proposed buildings. I just remember the parking area is what's budgeted.
The proposed building is just, that's to give us an idea where the proposed building would go on Phase 2. Phase 1 has always been just the infrastructure for the Ag Farm, and those areas is where we would end up putting our buildings, depending on what we end up going with.
So Phase 1 is a parking lot, or is a driveway? What is?
Phase 1 is all the infrastructure, all the fire hydrants, all the fire lines, the water lines coming into the new ag facility, sidewalks, curbs, parking lots, handicap accessible parking areas. That is Phase 1 of the Ag Farm.
But there's no new structure?
No.
There's no new, where the steers are and all that?
No.
Nothing's new?
That is why you see on the sketch, you see the existing structures, which are the blank, you know, on the right. And then on the left, that is all the spacing left for proposed buildings whenever Phase 2 goes up.
I just worry that if someone looks at this and they're gonna see, oh, phase one, we're getting a building, and we're getting a parking lot, and we're getting a roundabout, we're getting this. I just worry that it would be nice if phase one was just, you know, like the overlay of, you know,
Sure,
it's just gonna
we
be the piping.
we can change that out and
Just I
color
would hate for people to misunderstand.
color code it and leave it as an area available to put a proposed building.
Right. I think, thank you.
All right,
Yes.
trustees, Saldivar.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. President. And thank you very much, Mr. Trevino, and you and your staff for working all these projects. The 5 parking spaces in front of the IV, you already mentioned, those are there with the stops, and they've been designated visitor parking.
Correct.
All right, perfect. And I noticed you mentioned the restroom facilities, the partitions, but it says 1920. Do you mean by that the budget cycle 1920?
For the budget cycle 1920, come July
That could be done
1st.
as early as August of 2019?
Correct. That's why it's summer 1920, which is this coming summer, or fiscal year, budget year 1920, which we would order the materials after July 1st and install first week of August, second week of August, before the school year starts.
And that's the plan, and this is both for the boys and girls restroom?
Yes, sir.
So there's 4 of them, and all of them will be updated as far as partitions?
Correct.
Okay. And the other item that I don't see on here that we had discussed was for the new bus lane, to establishing a true bus lane on the south side of the campus.
That is in the works right now. I have one final meeting pending with the city officials and our chief of police, police department, just to make sure we have the seal of approval and make sure that everything's in order before we knock down that island that's out there, in concrete.
That concrete island that juts out.
Correct.
By removing that, you now get much more space for
Yes.
4 or 5 buses. Is the plan to go ahead and put a covered area for the students? It's for waiting for the bus there?
That is something that we're going to be looking into as to what the possibilities are as far as the type of construction for a canopy, whether it be a full metal canopy or a canopy just like you see at the front of Morris or some of the other drop-off and pickup zones at the other campuses.
And what's the timeline for that possible completion?
For the canopy, we'll be getting with the principal and staff over there and see what the actual area is needed for. I know that kids go in and go out during the day to be picked up, so it's not a large amount of students. So we may be fine with a 10-foot, canopy or 20-foot canopy, depending on what the needs are going to be. But we need to hear that from the campus first.
Thank you, sir. In regards to the STRIDES program, I understand, Dr. Ibarra, I wasn't able to make the conference call on Friday, but you met with the parents?
Yes, sir. We had a very successful meeting with a group of parents, special ed advocates who are, of course, very passionate about, just like us, and want the best for our students. And so we did have the opportunity to talk about the STRIDES program, the next steps. We did share with them a rendering of the design and the house. They're very pleased, and they understood the concept that what we really want is for students to really have that experience to go into a home. Building such a home in a classroom is not going to give you the same effect. So that's why we want to really have that opportunity to allow our students to walk into a home, into a kitchen, a bedroom, a restroom, and learn those life skills to be independent, to groom themselves, to make a bed, to cook, and so forth. And so, again, we explain the idea behind the house and how it's going to function and how we're going to schedule students in and out throughout the day and the week. So students will be coming into the STRIDES home once or twice a week. It's not every day, unlike the transition program.
But again, it's not limited to the Lincoln facility. These are students who can be coming throughout the district.
Yes, sir.
to use as
It's
well.
students from all 3 comprehensive high schools, as well as the students that are in the transition program at Lincoln. Yes, for the 18 to 22.
And the space that goes for the STRIDE inside the Lincoln facility, were you able to discuss that with the parents?
Yes.
And give them a perspective?
Yes, sir. We did explain that consists of 3 classrooms, And as a matter of fact, here are the three classrooms. One will be used for basic floor design, the other one for intro to commercial photography, and the other one basic cake decorating. And these are courses, STC courses, that will be provided by STC staff, employees, or professors who will be coming into our facility specifically for the transition program, for the STRIDES program. So yes, we did explain the difference. So that, again, both programs are complementary of each other. But this one is inside the facility, and that's what Mr. Trevino alluded to. He's currently undergoing some renovations there to go ahead and equip these three classrooms to have a kitchen and to have all the necessary equipment that is needed for these to teach these courses there.
I understand you're going to have a meeting for the district parents and students
Yes,
on the
sir.
25th Thursday. I wasn't
Yes.
sure where that was going to take place. Is it going to be at Lincoln?
That is going to be at the Staff Development Center, and we are going to have a meeting at 2:30 and another one at 5:30. Yes, sir, and that information is going out through the campuses for the parents, to all the parents who have children who qualify for the transition program. And yes,
But-
and that is on Thursday at 2:35, Staff Development Center.
Right. Now, again, this is for the 18 to 21-year-olds.
21-year-old.
After they've completed all the requirements
That's
for
correct.
graduating from high school.
Yes, sir.
But these three that you're showing on the board are not the only certifications that they'll be able to strive for. There are others as well.
One of the great things about having the CTE Center at Lincoln as well, or at Chief Early College as well as the STRIDES program, is that students can also participate in some of those programs. So we're going to work very closely with the CTE director and see, and hopefully these students can also take advantage of those courses. So the possibilities are endless. This is just a start, but we expect it to grow, and we want our students to also participate in these CTE courses that we're going to offer there at Lincoln Academy.
Would it be fair to say that STRIDES is a spinoff of or complements the CTE program at that location?
Most certainly, and we
So it's
do
not
have.
exclusive and
No,
segregated
not in any way.
out.
And we do have our directors working very closely together, Ms. Maribel Elizondo and Ms. Liz Sandoval Silva, who are partnering to work collaboratively to make sure that the students in the STRIDES transition program benefit from all programs.
Now, as far as the facilities, Mr. Trevino or Dr. Ivado, will they be completed in time for the next coming school year?
That is the goal, yes, sir. We were just waiting for the final decision on the portable so that we're able to move it. We have everything in place, so we should, hopefully weather permitting, we could possibly move it at the end of this week.
Thank you
Yes,
very
sir.
much. Appreciate everything you've done, both of you, in all of these projects. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Trustee Saldívar. Anyone else on the right-hand side of the table? Trustee Esparza.
Thank you. Thank you, Ruben, for the presentation. A couple of questions. Ruben, I know you went through the fencing, and maybe I asked this at the last meeting. The fencing over at Gonzalez, that's completed already, right? The one that the city was going to,
The first part of Phase 1 is now complete. We've now confirmed, gotten with the PTO, gotten with the principal and staff there on the distance for the columns that are going to go on Martin, and that will begin here in the next weeks to come.
okay,
And that is what they have allotted their donation for.
okay. On the parking lot, on your projects, you have, under the maintenance tax notes, projects, but those won't be till summer 2020. Do you have any parking lots on your schedule for this summer?
No, sir.
None at all?
No, the only one on the schedule is the staff development parking lot, but that's a new construction.
Okay, because I got a call from somebody about the parking lot at Memorial. I haven't seen it, but I know we did the student parking lot a while back,
Yes.
but they were saying that, I guess the drive-through coming in from the east side entrance, that parking lot, the student parking, Boxer parking
It's
lot.
the student parking lot out by the north of the school,
Right.
south of the stadium,
Right.
which is on our currently on our maintenance tax note.
Okay, that one is.
Yes,
But that wouldn't be until,
the following summer.
is it in
Correct.
pretty bad shape?
It's
I
been
mean, I haven't
repaired.
seen it, but they said, oh, they were huge.
It's been
potholes.
repaired, but it is the original parking lot, as I understand, from when the school was built, and it gets quite a bit of use back in that area.
Okay. And then, I haven't driven by, but have they started the project there at Lincoln, running up and down 495?
They started the detention ponds?
Yes.
Yes, the city, with the contractor, we had the pre-construction meeting out at the site. We also met at the city with them, and they have now dug, as of last week, they were complete with the first one, which is the one to the east, and right now they're currently working with the one furthest to the west.
I noticed there was some trees, maybe one.
There was
huge
two
tree-
sugar hackberry trees that are going to be in the entrance. One of the limbs was knocked down due to the high winds, so they were going to end up taking it out. And the other one was scheduled to be taken out because of the line going from one side to the other.
That's the one that's facing Pecan,
Facing
right?
Pecan, correct. So we'll have that entrance free and clear for whenever we want to do anything. There won't be nothing in the way.
Okay.
Thank you.
Real quickly, when do they anticipate finishing that project?
I believe they anticipate finishing it sometime before hurricane season.
Before what?
Hurricane season.
Next week.
It's only a month or two.
I'm not supposed to go back, but I'll allow it this time, Mr. Suarez.
Sorry, I kind of have I don't think it's a silly question, but might be a silly answer you give me, but what are we doing with that dirt? Does that dirt belong to us?
We had the first right of refusal when we discussed with the city.
Okay.
They allowed for the contractor to transport some of the good topsoil within a mile radius of wherever we want it. So we're currently working with the contractor to have most of the topsoil delivered to an area behind Row, between the practice field at Row and FMO, so that we're able to access that dirt wherever we need it, anywhere on any of our other campuses.
Beautiful.
The rest of the field dirt, that's going to stay on site, and that will be graded to the north of the detention areas as the board asked.
Thank you. I told you it was a good question,
Good
David.
answer, good answer. Thank you. Moving on, did you have a comment, Dr.
Just one
Gonzalez?
clarification, Ruben. You mentioned the one parking lot that we're working on is the Lincoln parking lot.
Staff development parking lot.
But we're also going to be
That's new
doing
construction.
the ag farm as well, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so it's the ag farm and staff
The
development.
ag farm is the infrastructure with a small parking area.
You got it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Trevino, for your report. Thank you, Ms. Benavides.